Hey everybody, Alex here, Out of the Park 23, Pittsburgh Pirates franchise, episode number 27. We are getting ready for the 2031 opening day against the St. Louis Cardinals. Before we do that, let's take you through the pretty eventful, for our standards, 2030 offseason. And I'll start here by showing the playoff results from the 2030 postseason. In 6 games, the New York Mets beat the Tampa Bay Rays to win this past year's World Series. So there's a screenshot on screen of how the whole playoff tree looked. So congrats to the Mets. All right, from the Pirates standpoint, usually our off seasons have been pretty quiet. This one, I would say, was fairly eventful in terms of trading, adding some new pieces, so we'll kind of walk on through it before getting to opening day. I told you guys before that I had to really make a decision between either keeping Ke'Bryan Hayes or Edwin Arroyo Jr. Ended up keeping Hayes, picking up his team option worth over $16 million and dealt Arroyo to the Arizona Diamondbacks, given that his arbitration number was going up, and really just have to try to focus on getting more offensive firepower and kind of a bat-focused mentality. He was, starting for us quite a bit last year, but if you look at the career numbers, only 1 year where his WRC plus was over 91. You're not even considering the 100 being the average. In 2027, he surpassed that, but he's been below that overall throughout his career. Now, he's an excellent glove. It was one of the best trades we made, getting him from Boston, in terms of him just being solid for us. But with Hayes at shortstop, with Kaimani Morris going to play third base, got a competition at second between Ricardo Cabrera, Luis Morales, there really was no place for him to start and just too expensive to be a backup on our small market team. So trading Arroyo to Arizona, who needed some shortstop help. Their depth was not great there overall. And in the trade, we also sent Tony Blanco Jr., who was really good in 2029 in A-ball. I think he won an award. I mean, the numbers here are, really, really impressive. In 2030, he was less so, and so he ended up getting dealt to Arizona as well. In exchange, Pirates getting back 3 pieces, and I always get the hard last names that I forget to figure out the pronunciation of beforehand, but Marco Standanovic, we'll call him that, Mark S here. I thought he was going to make our opening day roster. He's going to start in AAA Indianapolis. He had never been essentially above high A ball until very late last year, so I think it's okay to keep him in the minors for a little bit longer. Just a solid reliever, ground ball pitcher overall. Also got back veteran Brett DeGeis, I believe is the saying there. He's had a really eventful career. He was up in the majors in Arizona and Texas in 2021, did not do well, but then came back up all these years later in 2030 and was really good in a relatively small sample size, 23 innings, 16 appearances, but we'll go ahead and pick him up. And the last piece we're getting here is Frank Scott, an outfielder, probably more of a corner outfielder. Maybe, he can play center too, but ideally out there as a corner guy. He was in rookie ball last year. We're going to elevate him to A ball. He's 23 and a half years old. Good eye. The bat is marginal. Low home run power, low contact, but that's kind of the third piece. So I thought it was a pretty fair and equitable deal all around. But Edwin Arroyo Jr., now a Diamondback. The big acquisition that Pittsburgh made this offseason was center fielder Drew Jones, formerly of the Detroit Tigers, and he's never going to be tremendous with the bat. He's never had a WRC plus above 96 in his 4 seasons in the majors, but the power is real, and we need power. We need somebody that can hit some home runs, really outside of Delfin Ramirez, and so he had 30 last year. He's been consistently 20s, 30s, and he can play really good defense overall. The average will not be great. Again, if he hits 240, I'll be happy. If he can have a 90 WRC plus, I'll take it. But that really uber defensive approach we had last year is not working, and so I think Jones brings a blend of power and defense, and that's more than what I need, or really exactly what I need from that center field position. So in terms of the trade, it's a little complicated here. Let me just talk about the pieces we sent here to start with. The big cog that Detroit's getting here is Luis Suarez, who was, where did he come from our system? I'm not entirely sure. He was a 5th round pick in 2028. And so he has struggled in rookie ball. He's 20 years old. Will that changeup develop? We'll have to see. But they wanted him. That's a guy that they wanted to get back in that trade. A couple other pieces in Freddie Gonzalez, who's a pretty well-rounded but not great outfielder, and Dwayne Chavis, who is a middling guy who's going to be an A-ball and has barely played for us. I felt like that was not enough to give them. I mean, they accepted the deal. I try to make things that are logical and sensible. So I know this is going to sound super strange to do, but I went back and just tried to give them extra stuff in just a random trade, getting back the worst player I could find. I actually had a hard time getting them to agree to do anything. I was just trading for this terrible catcher who's just the worst player in the world, and I couldn't give them even like good prospects. So what they ended up wanting and agreeing to was Bob Parsons, who is not that great of a pitcher, obviously, but they wanted him, and then an outfielder here in Javi Marquez, and also $500,000 in cash. So just pretend like all that got thrown into the Drew Jones deal, because I felt like I didn't give them enough initially, so I just went back and tried to give them additional prospects. I try to play this as realistically as possible, and so that's what happened there. But to the point, Drew Jones is our starting center fielder for the 2031 season. One other note here from an award standpoint is Rowan Kelly, one of our outfielders, he won the Silver Slugger, or at least I think he did. It says he's first here. I don't actually see it showing up top, but I know that he did. So his average, I believe, led all of Major League Baseball last year, but certainly led the NL at, right there, you see it there in red, 323. So a nice accomplishment for him. End of the year on the IL, that was disappointing, but still a good year, and going to need another good year from him in 2031. Other than that, we didn't do a whole lot to change the construction of the Major League roster. Again, we're through spring training right now, so we've kind of gone through all of that. We did do one other thing. I lied. We brought in Corbin Burns on a 2-year deal, and initially I thought he might be a starting pitcher for us, but I liked him in this relief role. He was great in Kansas City last year. Granted, really good as a starter 2 years ago with Milwaukee. But he's going to be a stopper for us, a multi-inning bullpen guy that we have not had before. I don't know why he's unhappy. His performance, he's fine. Some of the morale stuff has always been a bit weird. But yeah, 2-year deal worth $13 million, $6 million this year, $7 million next year. Of course, he is 36. There is a concern there, but I mean, he's been just such a good pitcher consistently. Look at his FIP minus is always under and well under 100, so that's the mark of a good, consistent pitcher overall. And so I tried starting rotation, but I think he's going to be best suited in our bullpen. Also, we got from the Rule 5 draft Nathaniel Herrera from the Cardinals. He had appeared for the Cardinals Major League Club last year as a part-time starter, part-time reliever. Good numbers. He'll start off in our bullpen. Quick look at our top prospects and where they will be to start the 2031 season. Our top prospect, our top hitting prospect, is one pitcher slightly above, but it is Jose Pena, who has this Joey Gallo type of feel. He'll begin the year in Double-A after spending it in spring training with the Pirates this year. Hit just 191 though, but he was, good in high A ball last year. But really good with the glove. Hopefully, we'll hit a lot of home runs, get on base a lot. The average will not be great, but he's been our best hitting prospect. Some other guys to look at that may come up for the Pirates club mid-season. Alex Anaya, want to give him some more time to develop, but I like where he's at as a potential outfielder, maybe even second baseman, although we're looking at Alex Amaya at shortstop. Now, he has not played a ton of AAA, so I'm going to let him start in AAA, but he's a guy that I think will take over at the least for Ke'Bryan Hayes next year. Also, where was our second? Maybe it was a Naya here that could take over at second base. We're kind of debating some of that stuff right now. Jason Moten, one of our top catching prospects, will begin the year in Double-A, and there's some corner outfielders that are interesting in Julian Williams, former first-round pick in 2028, who's been crushing it in the minors, so we'll watch him. Our first-round pick and first overall pick last year. He'll continue to hang out in rookie ball, and I really like Jaden Murdoch, who does not have great home run power, but you see the contact, gap power, avoid K, really interesting there. He'll begin the year in Double-A Altoona. Did make one trade here. I did want to mention this as well. We got Darren Etheridge from the Miami Marlins. He's had a lot of home runs, 22 home runs in high A ball last year. Traded away a bullpen guy who was not going to make it, and Ryan Hendricks, who I think we claimed off of waivers or traded for. And now he's getting dealt to Miami. Just no spot for him in a pretty competitive bullpen. From our pitching standpoint, yeah, this is our technical number one prospect, but I hate these, international complex guys. The game ranks so highly because they're always unpredictable. But that guy is going to continue to stay in the international complex. Joaquin Bell is going to be in AAA to start. He could come up a bit more mid-season. We'll kind of take it slow with him. Sal Medina is in AAA after a really good 2030 season this past year. And so that is what's happening down on the farm. Before we get ready for opening day, we'll take a quick glance at the preseason predictions around the major leagues, starting with the AL, predicting the Yankees and Red Sox to have a classic rivalry battle, with the Yankees coming out on top. Chicago predicted to win the AL Central, and Houston first place out in the West. You guys can pause here if you want to look at any of the names. From the NL, the Mets projected to win the East. The Brewers projected to win and outduel the Cubs, who have continued to have a great bullpen, great starting rotation. See the ERA there is low, although the Brewers are actually lower. But Milwaukee projected to have 92 wins. We're projected to finish 80 and 82. Want to make the playoffs this year. If we don't make it this year, made it only one time in our time here, and out of the park 23, would be incredibly frustrating. The Dodgers' first place projection out in the West. From the top hitters and pitchers standpoint, a Pirate does appear. It's not Christopher Crew, surprisingly enough. It is Dylan Questad, who's projected to have a really good year. Also, I keep forgetting because I play this stuff and then I forget for a while. We did sign Dylan Lesko to a contract extension. Bought out his arbitration year, so it was a 5-year, $33 million deal. Pretty clear scale on that going up. I think it buys 2 of his free agency years, and again buys that arbitration timeout to have that fixed, locked in cost. And so that was something else we did, trying to get ahead of that contract of Lesko, who's not been tremendous, but I think there's growth and improvement, and we're going to roll the dice on him. All right, quick look at the lineups this year for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll go through them briefly. Justin Best will lead off with his great on-base ability, .369 on-base percentage last year. Kaimani Morris got up to a hot start, then cooled off, finished the year in AAA, got hurt. Need this guy to bounce back. I think that BABIP was pretty low last year. I'm hoping and kind of praying that Morris kind of gets back on track. Kelly hitting in that third spot. Delvin Ramirez hitting cleanup, 34 home runs last year, so he is certainly the real power in this lineup. Ke'Bryan Hayes, in what's likely to be his last year as a Pittsburgh Pirate, he will be at shortstop, 34 years old. Drew Jones, as we mentioned, acquired from the Tigers, will be the starting center fielder this year. Tabor Fast beat out Gil Quintos and Samuel Nunez for the DH spot, and just kind of a rotation there. Short leash on Fast, but he has been a overall productive major leaguer. Just had some really slow starts and slumps in his career, and he's a captain, so Fast will get the nod. Left-handed bat kind of helped as well to mix in some lefties in this lineup. Ricardo Cabrera will hit against righties. This is a platoon situation with Luis Morales, who's been a little disappointing and needs a big second year in the majors. And Cade Arambide will be our catcher, who I thought did a fine job last year. Morales will hit against lefties. You see the splits here. Better versus lefties than righties, but just hit .232 last season. Defensively, he's strong. Speed-wise, he's strong, but he is position limited. Really can only play second. Maybe I should have taught him some first base as well, but that's where that sits. Renee Lasters will be the backup catcher. Miserable behind the plate last year, but captain. Good defensively. We'll ride with it for now. Nick Dial makes a team again as a backup first baseman and backup outfielder. He's been just okay, but never really been what we hoped for as a former first-round pick. And pitching staff here: Cruz, Questad, Lesko, Ryan Kennedy. newest spin, I think overall impressive, and I think got a little bit unlucky last year. And Duran, who was miserable when we acquired him last year, we're going to give him one last go. At least he's cheap. The bullpen, Rafael Feliz will be the closer. David Bednar, I think, was DFA'd by another team. He's no longer a Pirate. Luke Robertson returns after tearing his UCL, and so we'll see how he looks there. Beck Way, a contract year, could be an extension coming his way. I got a prospect here in Humam Pia. I don't know how we'll say that. P. I don't know how to pronounce the name there, but he throws great gas. Asa Lacy returns as a just consistently excellent figure, and Brandon Clark will be a lefty acquired in the Nick Gonzalez deal. Two pitchers are on the IL right now, and Alberto Guerrero, who's healthy, but I'm going to get him on a rehab schedule once AAA begins, and Trent Jones has got some shoulder issues, and so he will begin the year on the injured list. All right, taking you out to opening day, we are in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. We'll look at the Cardinals lineup here briefly. Michael Gupton, their center fielder. Ryan Campos, a catcher, hitting in the 2 spot. You got some heavy hitters in Dylan Carlson hitting 3rd. Jordan Walker hitting 4th, 32 home runs last year for him. Some decent power in this lineup. Overall, yeah, I would say certainly they have the power advantage here. Tyler Black dealing with a minor knee injury. Yeah, it's a weird way to order the top of the lineup here. Nolan Gorman, 65 power. Yeah, there's a lot of power in these bats. Gunnar Henderson, their shortstop, kind of a bit of a weakness there from a scouting standpoint, but the stats were impressive last year. 2.8 WAR, 20 home runs with the Phillies. On the hill for the Cardinals will be Jabari Hassel, 4.01 ERA and nearly 30 starts last year. ERA plus of 107. Good mix of pitches. So, and again, for us, of course, it is the Christopher Cruz, who's fragile, a little nervous there, but impossible free agent. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But anyway, let's take you out to Busch Stadium for opening day of 2031. All right, opening day 2031, Pittsburgh Pirates kicking off, batting first here against the St. Louis Cardinals. Glad you guys are back with us. A big year. It's been a slog. We're trying to get this offense and this team turned around back in the playoffs. I think the Central has gotten more competitive, unfortunately, as the Cubs, the Brewers have all gotten better, as Justin Bess strikes out on the fastball to begin the season on that full count. He'll bring up Kaimani Morris, in need of a big year. Gotta have him be an anchor of this offense, and he will look at strike 3 for out number 2. Brings up Rowan Kelly, the lefty, trying not to be the third guy to strike out. 2-2 count, though. Here's the pitch from Hassel, and Hassel will set down the side on strikes, as we'll go bottom 1. Christopher Cruz facing Michael Gupton, who hit .215 last year, but really good defensively, like many center fielders in the game. That's why he's starting for St. Louis, as Cruz will get the strikeout. So been 4 batters, 4 strikeouts. Ryan Campos will try to change that. 2-0 count, and he'll hit this in the center. Going back is the new Pirate, Drew Jones, and he'll make the catch for out number 2, but a ball finally put in play. Dylan Carlson, he's a guy that knows how to put the ball in play. 0-2 count, and he strikes out on the fastball. So 5 strikeouts combined by the pitchers in this game. Will go top 2, still scoreless. Delfin Ramirez will try to make contact for Pittsburgh. Had 33 home runs or 34 home runs last year, but he'll look at a strike. So Hassel, 4 up, 4 down, 4 strikes. Someone's got to make contact here. Key Brian Hayes looks like he will, and he'll put this one into right. Fly ball, right fielder going back at the track, makes the catch. That's Dylan Carlson for out number 2. But a ball put in play, not a strikeout, so it's small but progress. Drew Jones in his first at bat as a Pirate, coming over from Detroit. 3-0 count, and he will draw the 4-pitch walk. Jones does come at a cost. His arbitration number next year is going to be, I think, about $9 to $10 million. And so for a small market team, there's some concern there, but needed some power, needed a guy. As Tabor fast inside, swung at it, bad eye there. The Pirates go down on strikes again. We'll go bottom 2, still 0-0. Jordan Walker to the plate for St. Louis, and just to go back to Tabor fast there, it's a guy that has to have a hot start. There's going to be about 20 games to evaluate him. If he's not producing, we're going to go get a guy from the minors and probably Quintos and try to have him be the DH or go trade for somebody. I don't know, but got to have offense from DH position, obviously, but even for our especially anemic offense, as that's the first out as Walker pops up to right field. Cruz gets the strikeout on Pimaris, and Jesus Sanchez will come in 1-2 count, and he'll strike out. So pitchers duel to start. Will go top three, each side looking for the first hit and looking, frankly, to put the ball in play. Ricardo Cabrera leading off, 3-1 count. He'll fire this one into left field. Center fielder going back, and he makes the catch. Michael Gupton, and again, we talked about that 215 average, but he's here for the glove, not the bat, and really robs Cabrera of extra bases, as we'll go to the 9-hitter in Arambide, who for a catcher did well, 76 WRC plus last year, as Hassel already has 6 strikeouts, as we are not even through the 3rd inning. So top of the order, Justin Bess, who struck out on a full count, is down 0-2 this time, and he looks at strike 3, and the Pats are just cold today. 7 strikeouts for the Cardinals. Jabari Hassel will go bottom 3, 0-0. 0 in the scoreboard, 0 in the hit column. Tyler Black will try to change that. Cruz will pitch to Arambide. That one catches the inside. Nice job there by the youngster Arambide to get that call. And it has been a strikeout affair. And there's another. Again, we play these opening days and you get the top pitchers, and so you get a lot of this. Once you start getting through the rotation, injuries begin to occur. We don't see that a whole lot in this series. We can never make a playoff push and certainly get in the postseason more than the one time we did. I can show it more, but trying to go through these seasons a bit quicker, especially before my work schedule gets busy, as Cruz strikes out another. It's been the same story, nothing but strikeouts as we go top 4, 0-0. Kymani Morris will try to get off the schneid for both teams here, frankly, as Hassel will deal. And this one hit into right, and that is going to be off the top of the wall. Thought it might be a home run. It stays in the yard, but first hit of the game, it is Morris with a double to lead off the top of the 4th. And so finally a hit, finally something to look at in this game. But I thought that one was going to get out just off the top of the wall, and in a game where it feels like runs will be at a premium, wish that one had a couple more inches to get over the fence there in right. But Rowan Kelly will try to bring him in. Hit 342 last year, as Kelly will float this one into left, and a diving catch by Jesus Sanchez. So some great glove work in addition to what Hassel has shown with 7 strikeouts and a couple of great catches by Gupton and now Sanchez. As Ramirez will step in, 0-1 count. That one hit to short. Morris will have to hold. And that's I believe the first ground out of the game for either side here well into the 4th inning. So how about that? As Hayes will come in, 2-2 count, and he will strike out. And so Pirates back to their swinging and missing ways. The Morris double does nothing, and we'll go bottom 4. Pittsburgh 0, St. Louis 0. All right, bottom 4, Christopher Cruz sits at 35 pitches, facing Gupton, the center fielder. And this one popped up and caught by Cabrera right on the grass in front of second base. Ryan Campos stepping in. He's 0 for 1 today, 2-1 count. That one bit inside, but Campos able to get a piece of it, and the Cardinals have their first hit, a 1-out single by their catcher, which is good timing to bring up Carlson with Walker on deck. 3-1 count. Cruz falls behind and walks Carlson, and so a bit of trouble here for the Pirates as the Cardinals have their first runner in scoring position for Jordan Walker. Quick look at his numbers. Hit just 210 last year. Pretty down year for him, but 32 home runs, so has power in that bat. 1-2 count. That one catches the outside corner. Nice framing by Arambide. Big topic of conversation right now, pitch framing in real Pittsburgh with Austin Hedges. But we'll go back to out of the park world with Pamaris, 2-0 count, favorable count. This one smacked to center. Jones coming in, but makes the catch. So the Cardinals strand 2. They can pick up their first hit. We are still tied at 0, going top 5. Top 5 in a very defensive and really pitcher's duel kind of a game. Drew Jones stepping in. He walked his first plate appearance as a Pittsburgh Pirate. And will hit this one into left for a leadoff single. And so the second hit of the game for Pittsburgh, just the third in this contest. Should we consider stealing, considering how, low scoring this game is trending? We might try to hold for now, as Tabor fast on a bad strikeout his first at bat. Needs something better here. Falls behind 1-2. He'll poke this one, and it'll be caught though by the second baseman Gorman on the outfield grass. So Cabrera will step in. 2-2 count, and he's striking out. The theme of the day, that is number 9 for Hassel, as a Rombi will try to do something here in this game. 2-2 count, and he strikes out too. 10 strikeouts for Jabari Hassel. Will go bottom 5. Somebody looking for a run. Bottom 5 here, St. Louis with their 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Jesus Sanchez 0 for 1, but contributed a great catch in left field earlier in this game. Full count, that one maybe a bit outside. Outfield shift was on, but Jones will call off the left fielder Kelly. That is out number 1 to bring up Tyler Black. Full count, payoff pitch. That one swung through by Black, and so Cruz up to 9 Ks. Candy match Hassel's 10, facing Nolan Gorman. Another full count. Shift is on, and he strikes him out, and it's a real toe-for-toe battle between Cruz and Hassel. Both have yet to allow a run. Both have 10 strikeouts as we go top 6. So somebody's got to do something at some point, you would think. Maybe until the bullpens are tested. As Hassel, sitting at 71 pitches, will face Justin Best, who's 0 for 2 today. 1-2 count. Could this be a third strikeout for Best? It will be. A guy does not strike out a lot with a good eye. Just not his day. Morris has the only extra base hit of the game for either side, a double that just missed being a home run. So an early swing here from Morris, who will poke this in the center. Gumpton going back, and that one's over his head. He can't make another great catch, as Morris will stand up into second base with a 1-out double. And so that's 2 extra base hits, which is exactly what we're looking for from Morris. And now Kelly has to drive him in. Maybe try to do something here, as this one is poked to the catcher, and can they get him at first? They do. Morris will move over to third. Now Ramirez will have to come in, as the pitch count on Hassel's at 78. The stamina is not great. There's one thing to watch for, but for the here and now, Ramirez must get Morris in. 1-2 count, and Ramirez strikes out swinging. Number 12 for Jabari Hassel remains scoreless. Will go bottom 6. As I clicked through a little too quickly, but Gunnar Henderson leading off in a loud way. Looks like extra bases for him from the bottom of the order, as the throw will come in, and Henderson wants 3, and he will get it, as it's a lead-off triple. Have to be aggressive there to try to get a run across. And so the best threat of the day for either side is Henderson's triple, as Gupton, center fielder, will lead off. 3-1 count, and Gupton walks. That's not what you want to see happen there, as the bullpen for Pittsburgh's going to get moving around. Beck Way, strikeout guy, would need that in this situation. Warming up, but Cruz facing Campos and walks him too. And suddenly the Cardinals have bases loaded with nowhere to put Dylan Carlson. We're going to go visit the mound. Way is ready, and I think it's probably time to bring him in. And so Beck Way will come in to face Carlson. The control's a little bit lower than what you want. Now Cruz is still on the hook for all 3 base runners right now, as he faces Carlson in a big spot to start the season. 3-1 count. Again, that control was the concern, and he will walk Carlson, and the first run of the game comes in through a walk. St. Louis up 1-0. Now Beckway has to limit the damage and has to face Jordan Walker to do so. With nobody out, bases loaded, St. Louis up 1-0, and Way is behind 3-0, and maybe bringing in a guy with 40 control was not the best idea, but I was trying to get some strikeouts, and so 2 runs have come in this game, both via walk, as Pomeris, however you say it, will step in, as Way's got to find the strike zone. 0-2 count. Infield in. There is strikeout number 1. Need a couple more of those, and now some offense as Jesus Sanchez stepping in. 2-2 count. Hill strikeout swinging. We're seeing the good and the bad from Beckway. Need one more good outcome. 2 outs, bases loaded. Cardinals up a pair. Black at the plate. 1-1 count. Here's the pitch. This one hit in the shallow center. Jones cannot come in and make the play. 2 runs are going to score. And the Cardinals have broke this one open 4-0. He's again, 3 of those getting charged to Christopher Cruz. And he was cruising for a while, and that stat line's going to look ugly. And now we're just trying to salvage this one as it's a full count to Gorman. He will walk, and the bases are loaded. Yet again, bullpen's going to get moving around here already. But Way's going to have to try to get out of this one. 2-2 count to Gunnar Henderson, leading off the inning with that triple. This one hitting the shallow center right as Jones makes the catch. But the Cardinals get 4 runs, 2 walks. 2 came in via walks, 2 came in off that single. St. Louis leads 4-0. More runs than they have hits. Well, that was less than ideal. I think it's safe to say, as Brian Hayes will try to get something started. So many of these games have been just horrendous offensive showings against great pitchers, as Hayes goes down. That's 13 Ks for Hassel, who seems to be nearing the end of the line, but he's obviously pitching a gem of a game, so who the heck knows what they'll do. Drew Jones has one of the 3 hits today from Pittsburgh. Not there, as he will ground out to short. I believe that's like the second ground out of this game, maybe for either side. It's been a very crazily structured game as Tabor fast 0-2 count. And that one poked into right, and that will be a 2-out single. Gonna need some power in the bats, though. I don't know if Cabrera is gonna be that guy, but we're gonna keep him in. The bench is pretty light right now, so we'll see what happens. Full count, payoff pitch, and he will draw the walk as he holds up there on the check swing. And now Rombide's gonna have to do something. Hassel's at 99 pitches. They're gonna keep him in. I think I might be pushing it a bit. We'll see what happens. Rombide hit about a 10 or a dozen home runs last year. Could really use one here. 1-2 count. That one is gonna be a pass ball or a wild pitch. We're going to call it a wild pitch, and again, you kind of wonder why Hassel's staying in. Let him have this great game, but 2-2 count. Big spot here for a Rombide. Here's the pitch, and he strikes out. 14 Ks for Hassel. That should do it for him, as the Pirates leave 2 stranded. Will go bottom 7. St. Louis ahead 4-0. Brett the Geis, I guess we'll say it that way. I'm sure somebody can correct me. Will come in to make his Pirates debut, acquired in that Edwin Arroyo deal to face Gupton, who's 0-2 today. Geis with that great ground ball, high movement combination. Don't want your bullpen to be full of strikeout guys. You want a different blend of strengths, weaknesses. So that's why Geis was attractive to Pittsburgh, but he's got back-to-back Ks here. Nice job by Rombide behind the plate tonight, but again, the theme is this offense has to find traction. It has been such a disaster as we finally get a ground ball as the Geis puts down the Cardinals 1-2-3. Pirates 6 more outs to get at least 4 runs. New pitcher coming in, an old friend, Nick Mears, former Pirate. He's hung around the NL Central after we dished him to Colorado. He was in Chicago last year, was excellent as always on making his Cardinals debut. Signed a 2-year deal. Justin Best 0-3 with 3 Ks today. As the Geis, just 10 pitches, might leave him in for another inning. We're always bullpen heavy because our starters have a relatively quick hook. As Best finally draws a walk, he's run some of these counts full, has been striking out, finally gets a walk there with that good eye of his. I think maybe Nick Dial should come in at this point to pinch run for him. He's got a bit more speed. And so, yeah, we'll go ahead and bring in Nick Dial as the pinch runner, replacing Justin Best, who lacks speed or great defensive ability. So Morris, who's got 2 doubles today, the lone bright spot, will strike out there. To Mears. Mears knows this lineup well. So that's going to be the issue, as Rowan Kelly will step in. Another strikeout as Mears gets back-to-back Ks. That's, 16 strikeouts the Cardinals have had in this game. What a dominant pitching performance. Ramirez will try to change that. He's over 3 today. And hits this one sharply to third. They get the force at second. And we'll go bottom 8. Pirates still without a run. Nick Dial coming in to replace Justin Best in right. The Geist will stay in for a second inning. Full count to Jordan Walker. That one inside. And walks and went off speed on full count. Now facing Ramirez, who's over 3. 0-2 count. This one poked to left as Kelly will come in. Make the catch. Route number 1. As if the Geist kind of labors here, we may try some different options. We'll try Umam P here. Want him in some low leverage situations so we kind of test out his game. That one, 0-2 count, runs inside, hits Sanchez. Looks like he's okay. And so we're going to go out there and visit the mound. Let him go maybe one more batter because P here is not ready. Full count to Tyler Black. He strikes out swinging. And Nolan Gorman. Let's go ahead and give P the opportunity, as he is the rookie making his major league debut. Was briefly in AAA last year. Great stuff. Very, very Trent Jones-like with great stuff. Low movement, low control. Those guys seem pretty easy to find, so we'll see what happens here against the bottom of the order. 1-1 count. As Gorman hits this one well into right. Dial going back, and that is a 3-run home run for Nolan Gorman. And so the first batter that P ever faces is a forgettable one. And it's 7-0 as the Cardinals have blown this one open. Gunnar Henderson stepping in. He had a leadoff triple that really got them going last inning or two. P strikes him out, but the Pirates have a long climb here. P. Brian Hayes. I think we're going to defensive sub just to get Luis Morales the opportunity. I want to get him an extra look here, so he'll come in, pinch hit for Hayes. Just want to see what Morales can do, as this one is going to be hit into left. That'll be a leadoff single. I'll drop in at Gupton's feet. And yeah, let's go ahead and try to steal. Why the heck not? We're down 7-0. Let's go ahead and run, as no throws even attempted. So Campos bobbled the ball there. So Morales pinch run opportunities. Maybe a little bit of defensive work against lefties. It's not ideal, but it is some strengths that he can bring. As the Pirates trying to avoid the shutout today. They're out hitting the Cardinals, but certainly not outscoring them. As there's a strikeout. Mears is third on Drew Jones. Tabor Fast coming in. 1 for 3 today. 2-2 count. And he looks at strike 3. And the Pirates are down to their last out of the game to try to not win, but scratch across a single run. As Cabrera coming in. Here's the pitch from Mears. That one grounded to short. Throw is on to first, and the Cardinals take the season opener 7-0. Pirates lose the first game of the year in pretty ugly fashion. No runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Pirates. Cardinals have 7 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. 4 of the runs coming in the bottom of the 6th, as they got 2 batters walked in and then hit a 2-run single. And then it was Gorman's 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th, and so that's where their offense came from. Great pitcher's duel early on, and then the Cardinals won the war of attrition. For the Pirates, Kaimani Morris, the only Pirate with multiple hits in this game. Pirates struck out 18 times. St. Louis struck out 7. To be fair, they struck out 16 times, excuse me. They walked 7, and that was one of the big differences in this game. Cruz tagged with a loss. Again, some of those runs that Wade brought in, but they're charged to Cruz as he got in trouble in the 6th inning. Struck out 10. And then DeGeis coming in, gave up a couple of runs, and P allowed that home run. Technically only one earned run to him, but still a home run. Not a great debut for him. As Jabari Hassel, great game. 7 innings, no runs, only 4 hits, 2 walks, 14 Ks. And Nick Mears did the rest. Hassel, the player of the game, as you would expect. And so that is where we'll leave you guys. Not the start that we want. Need to improve things going forward, to say the least. But we'll come back at some point, probably around... Team's doing well, we'll come back earlier. If the team's struggling, we'll probably come back around trade deadline time to check in, or maybe end of the season. Who knows? I want to try to go through these seasons as quickly as I can, with about a month left to play before work will start to slow this series down a little bit. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like this video, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.